Can you get those mics as close to your mouths as you're humanly comfortable with?
Is that okay for me?
Try.
Is that
like
okay
this,
for
sort
me?
of. It's good. All good on here?
Yeah.
Are we on?
Yes, we're on.
Okay. No, just talking to
I've just had a mince pie.
Oh, you've just had a mince
You've
pie?
had a mince pie. Brilliant.
Talking...
I thought I'd do it without you guys seeing.
We're talking to DK
I have
about
offered them one, by the way.
about his fourth child that's on the way, and he was just telling us about the kid's reaction. And I remember when which was so sweet, and I remember when, because Matty was 12 when I got pregnant with Louis, so that's
wow.
He thought he was an only child forever, and he was very happy being one, because I think with only children, it depends how if they're not lonely, you know, whenever we went on holiday, we took a pal and you don't argue with your pals like you do with your siblings. So he never had that sort of sibling rivalry thing going on. But when we said, you know, we've got a surprise for you. What would you like more than anything in the world? And he said, a bike, a baby, or an orangutan. And when we went, well, it's a baby, he went, I wanted the orangutan. I just remember his little face on the settee.
Oh,
yeah, my God.
Wow.
You know, that was
You can never predict what kids are going to say.
But we were nervous telling him, because it wasn't like a kid who, you know, many only children hankered for and wanted a sibling, but because we did have so many friends in his life, and we never thought of going away without taking a pal with him and stuff. So
yeah,
he never really felt lonely or alone, really. So he was quite happy. It was more, how is this new kid on the block going to affect my life? Thank you very much. Sadly, it was more than he bargained for with me being poorly. Anyway, all I can think about now, as it's, hang on, what time is it? 3:30, is food.
Food. I'm always thinking about food.
I know.
But that's the problem, isn't it? Well, I said to DK the other day, I said, I'm really focused on, you know, training and the fridge, and did 5 days of lighter life. But I lose track. I need...
You felt good the other day, though. You said
I know, I felt
energized.
Yeah, but you know what it was, DK? He did, but then he saw some pictures of himself. So I'd said to him, you've really lost weight in your face. Lincoln and I both have round faces. Yeah. And I can tell immediately in just a few days when he's looking after himself a bit more. And I'd said you'd lost weight in your face. And then we saw some photos, which in Lincoln's opinion proved otherwise. It was a bad angle, you know.
Yeah.
And he got really, the word that Later Life uses, crooked thinking. And then you want to eat because you're cross with yourself. And it's a vicious circle all the time.
Yeah, you think, fuck it, it's not working.
It's not working. I might as well just have fish and chips.
Just I'm crimping out.
You know, crimping out where you crimp it. But what I've learned to do since I went on, this sounds like it's a Later Life advert. It's not. It's just that I can't talk about weight and weight loss without talking about Later Life.
It's your journey, isn't it?
It's my journey. And because I've been a Later Life ambassador I always have to go married 10 years, Later Life. No, married and Later Life 10 years.
Yeah.
Alcohol 9 years.
Yeah.
That's right. Years. No alcohol 9 years.
Depression 33.
Depression 33 years. So when I gave up drinking, everybody always thinks that you give up alcohol and you lose weight. You know, I've got loads of friends of mine who drink, who might be a little bit overweight. And they'll say, if I just gave up drinking, never really made that much difference to my weight. Alcohol, it was food. And so
it depends what you're drinking. If it's 12 pints a night or something.
Yeah, it's 12 pints a night, but I was a wine and vodka drinker. But then when I gave up drinking, all of the sugar that had been surging, well, both of us, all of this sugar, because we were like stick thin. You know, we were very, very slim for all the wrong reasons. So I'd think I looked amazing. But when I look back at the pictures now, there is a deadness in my eyes. If anybody is so bored they ever Google Denise Welch drunk, bloody hell, I got a shock when I did that one day. I can't remember why I did it. It was to find some before and after picture. And it was a shock because, yes, I'm really slim. We both are, but we look terrible in our eyes and our faces and our pallor.
Yeah.
We look awful. But so I didn't lose weight. I put on 2 stone because all the sugar surging around had gone. Prior to that, you're in a restaurant, you have your dinner. Soon as the main course was over, I'd be outside having a fag and a glass of wine. Well, you're not anymore. You're there for the dessert trolley and you're desperate for sweets. I'd never had a sweet tooth all my life. My family were in confectionery. I never really had a sweet tooth.
Oh, were they? I didn't know that.
Welch's Toffees. Well, you know, because Mel's dad knew my dad. So my dad's dad, John W. Welch, there was 2 sides to the family. There was my grandpa's brother, Tom, who had Welch'S of Whitley Bay, very famous in the Northeast. And those were sold in sweetie bags, like football shoes and lollipops on sticks and humbugs and that. And they were sold like that. My grandpa, John William Welch, had John W. Welch in Whitley Bay on Laburnum Avenue. And that was all when you go in the shop and you get the jars of sweets. So you get a quarter of this and a quarter of that. My granddad invented the black bullet. The black bullet is a rolled mint. Jesmona do them. You know the rolled dark mints? Round.
They're not the one that's black and white.
No, they're not those. They're a rolled
blackjacks,
mint. It's hard to describe them. It's sort of translucent dark rolled mint.
Okay.
And my grandpa invented the black bullet. And when I was little, I used to go to the factory on a Saturday morning. The kids used to call me Truly Scrumptious, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang film. And it was early days. So the machine used to, this big machine, the smell was, I mean, you know, you can imagine for children. It was a sweetie factory. And Dad used to always go in and do some accounts on a Saturday morning. So Mum used to palm me and my sister off on Dad. And so we would be talking to the girls in the factory because there was a few of them worked on a Saturday morning. And there was this machine that pumped out the black bullet stuff in like a long sausage. And they literally used to go cut and roll, cut and roll, cut and roll with a knife, cut and roll like that with these black bullets. And they became really famous in the North. So I was brought up surrounded by sweets and confectionery. Never had a sweet tooth. I was on the A list of every party though, because I would turn up with a great big bag of mixed toffees, and everyone used to look forward to them. Subsequently, I didn't have a sweet tooth till we stopped drinking, and then we could literally put our head into a cheesecake and eat the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as much down that line of the sweets and stuff. Am I?
Pinocchio.
Well, no, I don't know.
You
would be a little pastry here and there.
You'll be more. No, you're right.
Pastries here and there, yeah.
You'll be more likely to say no. I would.
I've never seen him with a bar of chocolate.
No, it's not really bars of chocolate with us. It's puddings.
Yeah, but you don't ever share.
No, I won't share pudding.
Because that's and I don't understand.
You'll get a fork in the back of your hand.
Sometimes we go to a restaurant, they bring out the waiter will bring out a nice, there's a spoon for you, sir, as well, if you'd like some. And then I go, no, take the spoon away. He ain't sharing none of it.
Do you know the philosophy behind that, DK, is that I'm very generous. And if I'm at a table of, Lincoln or 4 other people or whatever, and I'll say, who wants the dessert? They all go, oh, no, thank you. And I say, you sure? I'll treat you. All have a dessert. Desserts, anybody? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, absolutely not. Okay, well, I'll have the apple crumble and custard, please. Thank you. And it arrives and everybody goes, can I have a taste? Fuck off. Fuck you, fucking fuck off. No, you can't.
You had your chance.
No, but it's like, would anyone like an iced lolly? Iced lolly, anybody? Magnum's going to get an iced lolly, anybody? Going to have one of those? No, thank you, not for me. I'll get mine. Can I have a bite? No, that's half the Magnum. You're not having one. So that's not me just being mean. It's saying you can have as much. And then they go,
it's a principled stance, Denise. So I'm not going to fault you for that.
Yeah, we've brought 2 spoons. Excuse me, take the second spoon away.
And it gets taken away. I'm sitting there literally just...
Yeah. Because you could have one. But the thing about
nursing your coffee,
I put on two stone really quite quickly, but I justified it because I'd given up drinking. Oh my God. And then a year later, I'd given up smoking. But apart from the aesthetic aspect of it, and I'm only 5'4", so although 2 stone in the greater scheme of things is not a huge amount of weight, it was to me. But rather than vanity, it was how I felt. Mm-hmm. It made me realize that even just 2 stone really affected my breathing. It affected, I remember I was doing a play with Keith Allen, Smack Family Robinson, do you remember?
Right. Yeah.
And I'd put on this weight, probably a bit more than that, maybe 2.5 by that time. And it was perfect for the role because she was meant to be this real floozy. And it meant that it looked great because she was billowing out of her tracksuit and the red lips and the fag and everything. It was a brilliant play, wasn't it?
Yeah, great.
What was that called?
Called Smack Family Robinson. It was directed by Richard Wilson of One Foot in the Grave fame. And it was me and Keith Allen. And it was about 2 middle-class heroin dealers. It was a dark comedy, but it was very funny. And young Harry Mellor, who had been in the funnily enough, he'd been a real big boy, wasn't he, when he was in the Harry Potter films? And anyway, it was more about, so I fell on this bridge at Kingston where we were doing the play, and I went to see this doctor, and he said, did these tests and whatnot, and he said, you've got osteoarthritis in your right knee. When I subsequently lost weight, I went back to see him for a checkup, and he said, you've reduced your osteoarthritis by 90%. And that was just 2 stone. So you imagine people carrying massive amounts of weight that apart from the fact that...
So that was on Lighter Life for 2 months.
I'm going to say about Lighter Life, but apart from the fact that what it's doing to your other organs, you know, and listen, I'm not talking about DK being a size 14 and being a bigger curvy girl or whatever. Of course, I think it's fantastic to embrace that. I'm talking about the health problems that come with being overweight. So I knew, because I'd talked on Loose Women a lot about having put weight on, several diet companies had approached me and said, would you like to try our diet? And so Lincoln and I together, you weren't even an artist then, were you? You were doing a bit of PR for me in various bits and bobs as well. And we were looking through all these different things. And Lighter Life came through, and I thought, oh, I've heard of that, because I'd never had to diet before. All the bad things in my life had kept me slim. And anyway, we looked at Lighter Life, and it was the only diet that talked about how to change your relationship with food. I knew how to diet. I know that if you put less food in your mouth, you will lose weight. That's as simple as that. But
let's write that down. Hang on a minute.
But it's the emotional side of eating, and it was the emotional side of it that made me grab onto what they were saying, because I knew that I was starting to eat like I was drinking, which was drinking to blackout, eating to the point that I was so full I couldn't breathe. You know, I was secret eating. I didn't have to secret eat. There was no one in my household that was reprimanding me for eating. So why was I hiding things?
Yeah.
And I was very quick to self-analyze that this was a problem I needed to nip in the bud. So we spoke to Lighter Life, and they asked me to try it. It's hard, but they gave me a mentor within a group, and I was dreading it. Please don't make me go to group therapy. Please don't make me do this. Please don't make me do that. And Lincoln said, if you're serious about this, this is what they've said you've got to do. And it was the making of me. And it was the first time I'd really addressed scales. You know, I didn't want to get on scales, and, you know, and I don't think people should live their life by scales, but it was important for this particular thing. And sticking to the Lighter Life Total program, I lost 2 stone in 2 months. But then when you start reintroducing normal food into the equation, you have to learn about maintenance, and it's all about changing a relationship and the crooked thinking. So what Lighter Life did, which I shall always be grateful for, and I remain the ambassador after, 10 years with them, is that it gave me the tools. So if I find myself slipping emotionally, because I'll always be that eater, you've just got to control it. I'll always be a recovering alcoholic. It's still there, could never trust, I would never pick up a cigarette or drink again. I know the road it would lead to. So what it's done is that it doesn't mean about cutting anything out of your life. I never go on, I'm not going to have carbs. I'm a Geordie, so I love fish and chips. I love pie and mash. I love all of those things. And it means that you can have them, but you make an informed choice when to have them rather than just turning to them in times of emotional comfort. And I'm not saying I don't do that sometimes, DK, just because I'm the ambassador, I'm not superhuman. But I know that Lincoln has never worked with, he's done stints of Lighter Life before, but he's never actually worked with a mentor before. And I think that this is something that you should, because I notice that your mood is you're getting cross with yourself about it. Well, you are. Why are you looking at DK like that? You know that he is DK. He's getting angry with himself about not being in control.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, I don't see it as getting angry. I just see it as a frustration of
getting cross with yourself when you put clothes on and they're not fitting you.
Yeah, I mean, but I did a very strict 5 days, and I like those drinks. But then I get to the point of thinking, by 5 days, I should be seeing something. And then I saw a photograph of myself and literally just want to throw myself into the middle of the table.
But that's when having a mentor and having it sort of monitored really, really, really helps.
Absolutely.
How does the mentor change that?
Because the mentor is using CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. Yeah. And it's not like because I always thought CBT, there's going to be lots of therapy speak. But I suppose one simple analogy would be, you've come home after a really shitty day at work.
Yeah.
It's cold, it's wet, it's miserable. And, something horrible's happened at work. And you just think, for people like me, fuck it, I'm just going to order a great big greasy pizza and it'll be here in 10 minutes and that's what I'm going to do.
Sounds great. What's the number?
Yeah. and these little wheels just kick in now. And so I'm not saying that never happens. I'd be lying if I said that. But in the main, you will think that. And the CBT just teaches you to think, just take a minute. Take a minute. If I'm feeling shitty, if I now order that pizza, it will come. How long will it take me to eat it? 10 minutes? How am I going to feel after? Are you going to feel better? No, I'm going to feel 10 times worse. I'm going to be so disappointed with myself that I caved in and had that for the wrong reasons. I've got indigestion. It wasn't a day when I was going to have a sort of, day where I'm going to eat anything. So just think, I'm hungry and I'm feeling a bit down on myself, but just make a better choice. And it's just taking those little moments to think.
Yeah, it's stopping it.
It's stopping it and then thinking, because Sunday was going to be my day when I was going to have the pizza.
Thing like a sponsor, like
well,
AA? Can you phone
someone
and
class?
The system has changed because of COVID situations, of course, which, stopped lots of things happening. But when I went, it was in a group setting. So there was maybe about 10 ladies in my group, but you're all supporting each other. You go every week, you're getting weighed, you're checking on you. Some people have had a week where they haven't lost, so they're a bit down on themselves, but it's about the way Lighter Life works. There might be a week that you don't lose, but you will definitely lose more the next week. This is when you're on the 4 food packs a day, and the food packs have changed so much over the years.
Oh yeah,
they're much more delicious, and it's hard because you're on under 1,000 calories. But but the success of companies like Lighter Life, and you're seeing it now, doctors are recommending meal replacement diets, of which Lighter Life is number 1, because they are reversing type 2 diabetes in people. Not just arresting it, they're reversing it in people. There used to be, have you heard people say over the years, oh, she's lost that weight far too quickly. Oh, he's lost that weight far too quickly. It's usually an excuse for people who people who are bigger to say that, who aren't in control of what they're eating. It's usually a bit of a dig at somebody. But that thing about you've lost weight too quickly, and we know people who would say things like that, is that in the 60s, a survey was done, some kind of food survey was done, and it came out that losing weight too quickly was dangerous. Within 3 weeks, it had been jumped on by proper scientists who'd said, absolute and utter bollocks. If you are 25 stone and very quickly you get down to 15 stone, you've saved your life. But it's stuck with people. And it was almost an excuse for some people as well. So lighter life and diets like that got poo-pooed for years. 800 calories, 700 calories. It's not forever. But what the company was started by 3 morbidly obese women, including Bar, who is the owner of the company. And Bar's the person that we've dealt with most of the time. Her and her 2 chums had tried every single diet, and they knew they were in danger of absolutely shortening their lifespan. And they created this diet where for a certain amount of time, you took real food out the equation. And it's the only thing that's worked for me, because we see all of these diets on the front of magazines. The eat all you can diet, the fish and chip diet.
Oh, I'm on that one.
The burger diet, this diet. It's rubbish. You can't eat anything as much as you want, even vegetables and chicken. You can't eat as much as you want if you are completely sedentary and that's all that you're doing. And so if you take real food out the equation, because I know what I'm like. If I'm on a normal diet and you go, I'll have a tuna salad. Because you're having a tuna salad, you're thinking that's okay, but actually, calorifically, it's not. But by taking food out, I know that if I have the 4 food packs a day for however long, mine was 2 months, wouldn't need to be that for a lot of people, could be 6 weeks for some, depends how much it's a year for some people.
Got 100% of all the vitamins and minerals that you need.
RDAs,
in there,
I am much healthier when I'm on it.
And I feel great on it, but I'm still greedy.
It's hard.
So what's in it? What's it made of? You say a food pack. What's in?
Well,
what's
a food pack, but you've got all the. I mean,
is it powder or is it
Some
broccoli?
of them are powder.
Powder.
Some of them are powder.
Some of them are. Some of them are like small ready-made meals.
Some of them are like
everything in them.
in a food pot. You've got like the Thai noodle one, so you're pouring water on it, a bit like a pot noodle, but it's got every single. It's got every mineral, every RDA, every vitamin, everything in it for those things.
Yeah.
And
lots of
some of them are yummy. Spaghetti bolognese. Is it like a plate of spaghetti bolognese at Giuseppe's restaurant? No, of course it's not. But it's okay.
And lots of science has gone into this. This is the point as well.
It's the thinking. It's the way your mind works. So you have your mentor that is keeping you going, taking the crooked thinking out, taking the all or nothing. We all do all or nothing. I won't eat any. Drinkers do that. Well, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink during the week. You are, because you drink to blackout at the weekend. The amount of friends who've said that. Well, I'm not an alcoholic. You are. I think you are. I've never said that to them, but we say to each other, because obviously we're perfect, yes, you are. It's not how often you drink, it's what happens when you drink.
What works for you, Lincoln? Because sometimes you have diet and it's super successful for a period of time, and then it comes off. And what's happening when it's successful? What's the feel good part of it?
It's great. It feels great. I mean, I always, as I say, I'll do like Lighter Life Light, where I'll have the ready-made shakes, or the ones that you might put into a shaker yourself and mix with water. They're perfectly fine. They're really good. They taste great. There's so much science behind them that I feel like I'm getting what I need from them. And then I'll have a small meal in the evening. I'll do that.
Yeah.
But like you say, and I'll do it for say 5-6 days. Then all of a sudden, and I'm an intelligent person, I will basically go and, I'm going to have that pork chop, and actually I'm not going to have salad. I'm going to have some mash with that. And it just starts this whole thing off again. It's
normal, because that's just really delicious food, and
I get it.
But there's something else happening in your life around that time that doesn't give you the strength to use the... Go against your crooked thinking.
Den always says as well, I'll do this thing where I'll be on the Lighter Life train, all right, and I'll be doing it, and then one day I'll come in, and then, like I say, I'm not thinking, and it's just complete.
I'll say to him,
let me finish, because this is exactly what happens from my point of view, and I don't see it, but I I'm in the kitchen and I'm making a salad and I'm putting some bits in there and stuff. And Den comes in and goes, and she will say, because, you know, she'll pull me up on it and go, hey, what's going on? How come you? I'll say, look, hang on a minute. I haven't eaten. I'm just having something. And that, for some reason, I feel like this, I've got to completely defend myself when basically Den's saying, hang on, you said you were doing lighter life, so do lighter life.
Yeah, I'm not criticising him.
Criticising.
I'll come in and he's having a baguette.
Yeah,
and then I go.
That's a good point.
It wasn't a salad, was it?
No, it wasn't a salad. It's a baguette. It's a baguette.
Having a baguette, and all I say is, because he'll say to me at the beginning,
okay,
you know, pick me up on things. Say to me, hey, you know, I'm not using no. I just say,
you know, don't eat that.
Just don't eat that. Say you're not going to lose weight if you eat that. But then, of course, like all of us, we say that. But I'll come, and that's exactly what I'll say. Oh, you're having a baguette. And he immediately goes, I haven't eaten all day. And I go, I don't care what you eat, but don't say you're on Lighter Life then, because you're not. God, I can't believe this is not an advert for Lighter Life. You know, it's ridiculous. But
no, but it's part of our life.
It is part of our life.
That I've used it, but I cannot find sustainability.
But I'll tell you what it is for you as well. It's working out. The reason why you can eat DK, probably like a horse sometimes, is because I think
he does
what Lincoln's told
program.
Me. Your training program is consistent.
Yes.
I haven't got a training program.
Whatever you do.
I do whatever I do as often as I can, but it's not as often as I'd like.
No, but you still train regularly. You don't have a month where you don't.
No.
Because
I would feel shit if I didn't. And my wife and I are very conscious of that and very honest with each other. And if one of us isn't feeling good about ourselves, we say to the other, you're probably not training enough, or you're not exercising right.
Yeah, well, Den says that to me, but it doesn't kick me up the arse enough to do it.
No, because it's a vicious circle.
You mentioned scales before. Do you get on the scale?
No, I have this stupid idea in my head. Oh, I can get in these trousers. These trousers are fine.
So your trousers are your scales, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Right, because there was one period in my life. So when I was significantly younger and I was playing ultimate frisbee.
Frisbee as in frisbee?
Frisbee, but ultimate. It's a lot of running, a lot of sprinting.
You were doing a lot of that when I first met you, actually.
I can't be. No, I've given up. I was doing it for fun, maybe. I was doing it for fun. But there was a period where I was getting physically, not abused, but like I was getting knocked about a bit on the frisbee field, and I wanted to bulk up to be more aggressive on the thing. So I put on 6 kilos or something.
What is that in real money?
6 kilos, no idea. I moved from stone to kilos a long time ago.
I can't do kilos, but anyway, yeah.
Let's say it was a stone and a half maybe. And after 6 months or so, I got really bad knee problems. And it was because I'd put this weight on.
That's what I mean.
But I didn't realize that for ages. I was just wearing knee braces and everything at frisbee, doing all this stretching and stuff. And I realized because of the weight. So I thought, right, I got to lose the weight. And I'll go on this sort of crash diet and I'll get rid of it. Because like, no matter what happens, I can't run in this. I can't walk with this pain.
And that was just about 1.5 stone. That's what I mean with the knees. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so I was determined to lose it. But at that time, I was doing lots of training. I mean, we're talking about late 20s probably at this time. So I decided to lose the weight as fast as I could, and I lost it in about 2 months, 1.5 stones in 2 months. And I used scales, and I had a tally chart, and I put it on my wall in my bathroom.
I bet you did. I can imagine you did a spreadsheet.
I weighed myself. I did it on a spreadsheet. I weighed myself every night and every morning, and I wrote all the numbers down.
Yeah.
You weighed yourself at night as well.
Night, because it's very different. Your night measurements and your morning measurements are very, very different. So I wanted to have an overview of what was going on, and over the course of a week, you will, if you're disciplined and you'll stick to your diet, you will lose weight, and you'll see it in the numbers. And I had a target number, I had a start number, and I had a target number. And over each week, you can see yourself getting there. It's just that number just comes down, and if you see that number comes down, it encourages you to get to the next number. That's the way I work.
What did you do to lose weight? Did you cut out carbs? Which way did you do it?
I cannot, for the life of me, remember, because this is going back 15 years or so. But I have been on a diet for the last, I'd say a restricted diet for the last 6 months. And that is informed by like a fasting thing where you don't eat between certain hours of the day.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So if you were to do it aggressively, you wouldn't eat between, let's say, 8 p.m. and midday the next day.
Yeah.
I started doing it it wasn't compatible with our life as it turned out, because I was trying to eat at 5 o'clock and then not eat again till 11 o'clock the next day.
Three hungry boys.
We've got the 3 boys, but my wife as well. It's like, that was like the one thing we do together, is sit down on the sofa and have dinner together and watch some telly or whatever. So it became a bit unsociable in that respect. So we gave that up. But I don't have breakfast anymore. I mean, pick holes in this if you will, but I have 2 bananas and a bit of a shake for breakfast, and then a salad at lunch, and then quite a healthy dinner. And that's basically
what's a healthy dinner for you? What would be an average healthy dinner?
We have like salad, falafel and salad, or we have like pizza and. When I say pizza, we'll make one pizza, split it in half, and have salad on the other half of the plate. We have everything.
Would you have a pudding?
Salad. No, not at dinner.
Do you not have a craving for something sweet after your dinner?
Well, so on a normal night, I might have 200 grams of dairy milk.
What's 200 grams, DK?
About this much. About
he does.
6 inches.
He does. I promise you, he does.
6 inches.
So, right.
Is that like half a family-sized bar?
No, it's this family-sized bar. His family, he got 4 families.
This isn't part of the diet, Denise. This is you asking a pointed question, which I was trying to avoid.
But can you see any other? No.
Oh, fruit and nut, Cadbury's fruit and nut.
We've gone to fruit and nut recently, but it used to be I have a dairy milk, and my wife would have Marvelous Creations, which is dairy milk with popping candy in it.
Would your wife have a full-size family bar?
No, she has never eaten as much as I have.
But can you eat a full-size family bar?
Yes, he can.
With ease.
Oh, yes. With ease. It is easy, though.
Well,
that is my biggest vice.
Chocolate.
Yeah. So if we're being balanced, that is my big vice. But during this last 6 months, I've had a lot less. We go through periods of having more. Sometimes I'll cut it out for a week. But hopefully the rest of the time, I can't eat a lot. You said I might eat like a horse or whatever. I don't eat big meals.
Right.
I can't.
It's portion control as well.
Yeah, well, I just don't eat that much anymore.
The last thing I would want anybody who's listening to this podcast right now to think that we're doing is obsessing about food. We just happened to fall into a conversation about what we were going to have for our teas, how Lincoln has been addressing feeling a bit overweight, how I know that in the winter, I tend to look for my comfort food and I've got to be more careful. But it's not more careful about, am I going to look good on a red carpet? Of course I want to look good on a red carpet. I'm 64. I need all the help I can get. But it's mostly about how it makes me feel. Because if I'm eating properly, I don't get any indigestion. As soon as I start bringing in the wrong foods, I live on Gaviscon and I know immediately I've got to do something about it.
That's
your body's giving you feedback.
It gives me feedback straight away.
What I feed into my brain when I listen to podcasts, and I love David Goggins with regards to his outlook on it, which is, just get on with it and do it. What on earth? This is the thing about it as well. Like the other day, I did get up and
just
go
eat
to the
a
gym.
Moderately diet.
The other morning, I did go to the gym when we were in London. I went to the gym and I enjoyed it. Feel a bit achy afterwards because you leave it for a couple of months, you're going to start feeling achy. But when I was on the cruise ship, when we went on the cruise, I was in the gym every day, wasn't I? Twice a day, even sometimes. Going in there and doing the weights and stuff.
Yeah, but the weight loss, as we've said before, like on the cruise,
the weight loss
has to start in the kitchen.
Yeah, no, I get that.
People think that you can lose weight by exercising. You can't.
Train a bad diet.
You can't. You've got to.
I know that.
That's what I've said to you before.
No.
Eating a bad diet and going to the gym's not working because you make better choices when you go to the gym regularly. But you can't say that happened on the cruise.
Brilliant. So my point being is that food and training go hand in hand. When I was with Scott, I lost a stone as Scott in Wilmslow.
Because you were making better choices.
I was making better choices, but I knew I needed to see Scott. That's why personal trainers are good. I knew I needed to see Scott, and I was seeing him 2 or 3 times a week. Yes, he did.
Oh, you were on a plan. You were on an eating plan, weren't you?
On an eating plan.
Gym.
And you respond. You respond to people who know, telling you what to do.
I appreciate their knowledge. I want to be a part of it.
You do.
It's the thing is,
we all need help.
So I listened to Joe Rogan. I watched that David Goggins. I see this, and it is about like Rogan always talks about. He wants to train 5 days a week and have 2 days. The 2 days he has off, he's always doing saunas and water jumping and I don't know, whatever else he gets up to.
Not like our days off, which are just lying watching true crime.
I know, but I had more days off than any days on. But the point being is I've got to get on it. I've got to get on the training program. And the issue I've got is that this is the point. It's like, I'll go out, I'll go and paint, and then I'll work on marketing my work so I can sell it. That's how I do it. That's what I do as an artist. I know what I need to do, so I need to get on with that, and I get on with it and do it, right? With training, I know exactly what I've got to do.
I know,
I've
Lincoln.
got to stop eating so much and go to the gym.
Lincoln, think
But
back.
I don't go.
Listen to me. Think back to what you've just said. When I was with Scott, I lost a stone. I've said to you, we're members of this great gym called Claire's Space in Mobberley. Do you know what it is? It's a fantastic, trendy, all singing, all dancing gym that's not pretentious. Because I hate pretentious gyms, but all the people there are just lovely. She's just got very good with staff. And they're just great. And there's a guy there called Dan, and he's been saying, I'd love to train Lincoln. How many times have I said to you, get a program with Dan? Yeah. I know over the next month we can't, because there's always the next
something.
No, there is, but we're going on holiday, Lincoln. So that, I'm not saying we can't be careful on holiday, but I've completely contradicted myself, because I always say I don't make New Year's resolutions, but I make them on for you, which is come January, which is a good time. Like loads of people do. That's where gyms make all the money, as we know, and then people lapse with it. But I know that you've just exactly said that. You need structure and someone who knows guiding you through what to do. You listen to what they say and it makes you feel good. Why are you shaking your head?
Shaking my head because, to answer your question, when we leave here, I could go to the gym and do an hour workout. Because I've trained all my life. But
you're not on a program.
No, I know, but but the program's in here.
Right, okay, have you got the food? Have you been to source the food that you're going to have for your breakfast tomorrow when you've gone training? No, exactly. You're not thinking it through. It doesn't work like that. It's got to run hand in hand. And I'm not bloody hell.
So you're talking about preparation and planning for the actual event of me going to the gym
tonight, but then going and having, breakfast at our local cafe and having eggs and bacon and muffins and spread. It's not going to work.
No, I know it's not going to work.
That's what I mean.
So I know.
It doesn't. I'm not saying don't go to the gym. I'm just saying I know what you're like, because I've been married to you for so long. You need to actually make a concerted effort.
I know. I do.
You need a structure.
I'm just talking it through, because
it's interesting to talk it through.
A tally chart.
You need a tally chart.
I need one of DK's
tally charts.
Would you do that?
He's going to make you one.
Well, would you put would you get scales in your bath? Because that's the only thing that's consistent in your life, is that you go to the toilet every night. I mean, surely. And if you see it there on the wall, because all the other stuff, going to the gym and stuff, that's hard, because you're out and about, you're all over the place. You're in different countries, you're in different cities. You've got to start seeing. It's like on Lighter Life, you have a quick weight loss the first week. When you see 4 pounds comes off, you are buzzing. Nothing else, as inspiring as that is there.
Well, this is the point where I get to. See, it always works like this. Den will say to me, oh, you've lost weight around your face. The next minute it's back on again. No. Because it's a stop.
Well, what happened?
You're not on a program.
What happened with Scott? You lost the...
COVID. COVID happened. I cannot believe it. It was the first time that I'd got into a real program where he would say, right, okay, we know exactly what we're doing.
On you, wasn't he?
Every week we know exactly what we're doing, and we're growing this. We're going to make you stronger. We're working on certain parts of my legs where my knees were hurting. And
you enjoyed the banter with him as well, didn't you?
Yes, he knew me. He was very strict. Very strict. And I really enjoyed it. It was hard, really hard, but I really enjoyed it. COVID came and Chip's back on the scene. And that's it.
Because Scott had to close his studio. And then when we were just starting to come out, he sort of had a lean-to. And let's be honest, it was the winter and it was fucking freezing.
Yeah, it was freezing. But one of the things I always think back on that, and I think the determination he had to do that. He set up one of these things in his garden and everything, so it was outside, and he had all the training equipment in there, really committed. And I sort of, it was very, very hard to train outside. It was the winter as well.
And then, we were all living a different life. Everything changed. It was hard to be consistent. We were low in mood, and that's comforted by food. And it was. I had to really work hard on to maintain. I did put on a bit, but I've got the tools to get back on the saddle a little bit. Who knew that podcast was going to become about that? That was interesting. That was.
Yeah. I mean, it's just refreshed my memory that I've got to get this sorted out. So I've got to look at. I'll commit to doing a progress in this podcast. Maybe we'll have a.
There we are. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, we'll have.
Bring a pair of scales in.
Oh,
a pair of scales and a tally chart is coming.
Yeah,
to a podcast near you.
Like the boxers.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. I'm tired, DK.
Okay. I need something to eat.
Yeah, I'm starving. Are you?
I'm starving.
That's our out. That's our out right there.
So guys, if there's anything that you've ever heard me talking about that you'd like to hear more of, or indeed anything you can suggest that me, DK and Lincoln can bring to the table, contact me on denisewelchpod@gmail.com. And indeed, if you've got any questions, ask away. We'd love to hear from you.